Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Oh, excuse me. Your boy Vicdamoane in the building, and we are live. Let's go ahead and make sure we got sound. Go ahead and yep, we got sound. Stick this stream in a couple places. Stick this stream in a couple places. Then we're gonna go ahead and get started. As I want a few people to have an opportunity to analyze this and see it for what it actually is. All right. Yes. Happy holidays to you, real cigar. What up? What up? What up? What up? Hold on. Let's stick this in a couple places. Oh shit! Not that. Then we're gonna go right into it. Team, stick it in here. Paste that. Good. Okay. All right, people. All right. I would like to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and yours. All right. As we get into this quick news story. All right, I happened to come across this video, and as some of you might well know, I've been covering these stories talking about how, the white folks is coming back into the city and they are taking it over from blacks. That Detroit, for as long as it's been known as a predominantly black city, all right, this is something that is slowly and surely dwindling away. Now, I just so happened to come across one of many uh, white folks, per se, that was happy to let cameras in and let people interview him. And I wanted to bring this to you guys, and I wanted you to, give me some insight on how you feel about what you learn with your boy Victor Moan. As you know, I always keep things interesting. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. And when I came across this bit of information, I said, well, well, well. Oh, did I not call this down the middle? All right. Now, I'm not a racist individual. I love white people and I have white people in my family. So, what I'm saying? It's not really a black white thing with me. But as far as with the story goes, it's definitely a black and white thing when it comes just as far as this story is concerned, because it is very, very factual about what is happening in the city of Detroit. Now, go ahead and get right into the video. All right, roll that clip.
When you're as high
All
as
right,
possible in the air.
without the damn commercial, please. We would prefer not the commercial. All right, please, please. All right, thank you.
have Nashville and green. The rest are red.
You have two on Christie and two on Nashville, right?
Yes.
I like Nashville more than I like Christie, so maybe both Nashvilles.
Did you pull up the picture for this one?
I did.
727?
Yeah, that's the right off Gunston in the alley, right?
Yeah, next to Alley.
It's okay. I think I like this
Newer
block
roof,
more.
though. Newer roof, that's $5,000, so.
Stevie Hagerman and his dad, Steve, buy up hundreds of Detroit homes every year.
So are we going after both Nashvilles and leaving Christie alone?
Which Christie? The first one?
We got.
It's the first of two rounds of the annual online auction of tax foreclosed homes, run by the Wayne County Treasurer's Office.
Now, we're gonna pass on, don't bid on that later.
In a matter of days, the Hagermans will become the new landlords
Yeah, you
of
drive
already
by this
occupied
one,
homes.
too. We're closing in on Manning, huh?
You are the winner, 14019.
I'll wait and see what Stevie says. He knows he saw it.
When this is all said and done, how much money will you have spent?
Under $3 million.
Better.
Yeah.
The tax foreclosure epidemic is a contradiction at the heart of the revival of Detroit, where chic shops and high-rise apartments build up downtown, but east and west neighborhoods are littered with burnout.
Time out. Time out. Did you hear that white man say that he was spending $103 million in the city of Detroit buying up property? Isn't that strange? Isn't that odd, considering they told all of you, black folks, that you wouldn't make a dime in the city of Detroit, that investing in Detroit would be one of the worst things you could ever do. All right? All right? They told you not to do this. They told you not to do this. Why the fuck did this white man, with a smile on his face, say, I just bought $103 million worth of property, or at least I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to spend at least $103 million in Detroit. Why? What? Excuse me, but they told all of you that Detroit was a toilet. They told all the black folks, well, if you wanted to invest, don't do it in Detroit. Don't do it in Detroit. You're going to lose all your money. You're going to lose every dollar. If you try to invest in Detroit, you are a dumbass. So why is this white man talking about $103 million? That's just a side note. Let's keep going.
And board ups. Stevie Hagerman manages properties on the east side of the city. In the days around the auction, he surveys well-kept, mostly occupied homes coming up for sale.
13870 is my first one. It's going to be right here on the right. Yeah, so this brick one here to the right. It's got a guardian alarm. The roof's in good shape. That's your typical brick 3-bed bungalow. It looks occupied. This street, 1 off 8 Mile, the homes are going to go high. That's one we'd definitely be interested in.
Can you walk me through how you actually make money on this?
The way you make money, say I buy the house you're in personally for $500. I'm now the new owner. I'm offering you a deal to stay there. I'm not charging you a security deposit since you're already there. We'll take care of your major issues, whether it's roof, plumbing, electrical, tank, furnace. We sign a 12-month lease. You pay me $500 the first of the month. In one day, we've gotten our money back, and then after that, it's profit.
Wow, how hard was that, people? Did you hear that? All right. Did you hear that? How do you make money from this? Well, we just drive around. We check to see if you're living in your house. Then we go down there, buy that motherfucker for $500, and charge you $500 for rent. How you like that? That's like the easiest way to make money, is it not? I just ride around. Okay. Check to see if your ass living in that motherfucker. Okay. I'm gonna check to see if you living in that bitch. Oh, you home? Oh, that's even better. That's even better. Oh yes, there are cars in the driveway. I smell a grill going. Oh yes. Oh yes. Okay. All right. Oh yes. Come on, let's keep rolling.
One of the homes he's targeted is Judy Kelly's.
Just a 2-bedroom bungalow, but I made it nice and comfy for me and my family.
She's a mental health social worker, making a little over $2,000 a month.
So we can have 2 bathrooms. Hot water tank.
She bought her home in 2009, right as the recession hit, for $3,952.
I had to get the pipes changed from lead to PVC.
Almost immediately, her tax bills were crazy high. That's because the value of her home was assessed at more than 10 times the price she paid for it. By 2017, she had racked up $23,000 in back taxes and fees. What kind of financial strain did that begin to put on you?
A lot, because it seemed like every time they would send me out a letter, I would try to come up with the $500-$600 that you had to put down on it to try to save your home.
As she put a child through college and cared for her dying mother, Judy only managed to pay $1,000 toward the property taxes she owed. As your home heads into this auction, while you are literally living in it, how are you feeling?
Now, you know what? I got a small problem with Judy. Okay, Judy putting a kid through college. Judy taking care of the dying sick mama. But you only put $1,000 on your tax bill. Did y'all catch that? You putting the kid through college. You taking care of sick mama. But you only had $1,000 to pay on the taxes. Taxes are due once a year. And for you to be 23,000 in back taxes, that means you hadn't paid in like over a decade. You hadn't paid taxes in over a decade. In the city of Detroit, for a home, a property, if you're not in a goddamn Manugian mansion, which she is not, all right, and it's cheaper to live on the east side than it is on the west. This is a fact. It's cheaper to live on the east side than it is on the west. You got nice properties on the east side, but all right, the property tax is not higher on the east side than it is on the west. Okay. So this woman just sitting back like, yeah, I put what I could on it. No, man. Now see that you a social worker. Tell me a point where you were unemployed. You feel what I'm saying? Tell me a point where you were unemployed. If you are a working individual, because that's what she said. She said she was a fucking social worker for mental health. So you getting a check from the city, it's not like a point where you're not getting paid. All right, it's not a point where you're not getting paid. All right, for sure, Chuck. That's what's up. But yeah, I mean, yeah. See, I got a real good ear. I got a real good ear.
It's a lot of history that I had in this house. All the memories of me and my children, my grandchildren, the holidays. My mother lived here before she became ill. And just to see it all snatched away, it's kind of heartbreaking.
Excuse me.
Judy is just one of thousands who've experienced this. Homeowners pay property taxes based on a city's assessment of the value of their homes. Home value goes up, your taxes go up. Home value goes down, your taxes are supposed to go down. When the Great Recession hit in the late 2000s, property values tanked. But Detroit didn't lower taxes far enough. One study found that between 2009 and 2015, the majority of homes in the city were overassessed. In 2010, 85% were. Even with recent improvements, reports show Detroit's assessments were inaccurate as late as this year. According to experts who spoke to Vice News, many of them were so high they violated the state constitution. What the law does allow for is a confusing city-county relationship. Wayne County fronts Detroit any missing tax money and then becomes the debt collector, charging struggling homeowners as much as 18% on unpaid taxes. If you're delinquent 3 years in a row, state law lets the county take your home and sell it in the auction. So to be clear, if you're like Judy, you got overcharged by the city on taxes, then got asked by the county to pay interest on them. Oh, and then when you couldn't, the county sold your home out from under you. Detroit.
Now, the thing is about that, yeah, if you don't pay your taxes, all right, on time, then the city has the right to put interest. Now, that interest is going to be whatever the hell they want it to be. That's not the city's fault. That's the thing. It's not the city's fault that interest gets put on late taxes because you're not going to the office and paying the fucking taxes. Okay? Anybody that has a Metro phone, miss 1 day of payment, they cut your shit off. If you have DirecTV, if you have Dish Network, miss 1 day of payment, they cut your shit off. Okay? Detroit was the only place where people were in a mindset, well, if I don't pay my taxes this year, well, y'all not coming to take my house. Well, you know what? I'm going to go a whole another year and not pay no taxes. Y'all didn't come and take my house. The third year, where I thought you was coming, y'all didn't come. So guess what? I'm not paying you for a third year. Then it goes to year 4, 5, 6, year 10, 11. So you're allowing the city, all right, to do whatever the hell they want to do to you at that particular point. All right. Now, the reason why the tax amount didn't go down is because guess what? There was still trash that needed to be picked up. There was still school funding. There was still, stuff like, public services that were still being ran. It didn't matter about the goddamn tax rate going up or down. All right, it's not like the property values go down. Oh, we're just going to pay the garbage man even less money. We're going to pay the guys that come and pick up, bulk and when you throw anybody know what I'm talking about. If you're a homeowner, you know what I'm talking about. Like if you put a fucking table, a television, and you throw all that shit, the stuff that don't fit in your trash can, you sit all that shit in front of your house. A truck just drives by and picks that shit up. Am I lying? You don't have to call that motherfucker. All right, you have to schedule no appointment. You leave the shit out there, right? And they just come on by and scoop it up. You ain't got to ask no questions. All right? You ain't got to ask no questions. They do all that shit for you out of the kindness of their motherfucking heart. All right? So all of those things are necessary. All right, the real issue I have here is that, people are trying to push this narrative that to say, well, the city, was supposed to lower the tax rate and this, that, the other. No. If they did that, I mean, hell, they had already laid off as many people as they possibly could, and then the city was being pushed into bankruptcy. All right, which we, learned about earlier. Now, if you didn't come to the video earlier, we already kind of saw the white man buying up Detroit. That was him. But let's keep rolling.
Detroit hit a low point in 2013 when, saddled with $18 to $20 billion in debt, it filed for the largest municipal bankruptcy in the nation's history. Mike Duggan ran for mayor on the idea that he was the turnaround guy, the businessman, the one who could pull Detroit out.
I think starting tomorrow, we're going to start to turn the city around.
The city did improve dramatically, and Detroit just said thank you by electing him to a second term.
Well, thank you, Detroit!
But it happened with a city budget balanced in part on overtaxed citizens. Since 2009, Jerry Paffendorf has studied tax foreclosure and Detroit land ownership.
How many Judys are there in Detroit?
If you throw a stone into the auction properties, you're probably going to hit one. This is a map of Detroit. Everything colored in is a property that's at the tax foreclosure auction right now. So we found countywide 76,000 properties that are 1 to 2 years behind on their property taxes. And we found just about 64,000 that are 2 years or more. And if you go down to Detroit, you can see, I mean, almost everything is tax delinquent. That's pretty indicative of how screwy the situation is.
That screwy situation creates high-stakes auctions, pitting people like the Hagermans against advocates like Michelle Oberholzer.
Okay, Keating, Eddie Murray, I'd like to place a bid for him.
All right, does anybody see that fat white man? All right, sitting there. All right, look, you see that fat white man sitting there? I love that fat white man. That fat white man was my goddamn lawyer. All right? That fat white man is my goddamn lawyer. Look, the secret is out. There he is. That's the motherfucker I send to go get these motherfucking houses. All right? Since y'all want to know what my secret is, all right, for those that want to invest with your boy Vicdamoane, I say, hey, man, we need to go ahead and get this shit cracking. We need to go ahead and get this shit cracking. We need to go ahead and get this shit rolling. Because, see, I got a white man, too. I ain't white, so I can't go in there. But I can send my white man in there. Go get that motherfucking shit. I'm going to call you back like he got it. He got it. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. All right. All right, yes. That white man right there, I know exactly where he is. Yeah, I will go there. All right. I might go get his ass a donut and some coffee later. All right. When they open back up, I'm be like, hey man, I want to buy y'all some shit. I came up here to treat y'all. God damn it. All right. These are my miracle workers. These are my miracle workers right here. The HCUC, I think it's called. I might have messed up the name, but it don't matter. I know where the office is. Fuck the name. All right. When you are fighting the white man, you send the white man to fight the white man. You don't go in there as the black man. No. No. All right. We send the white man to fight the white man. You hear me? That's how we get this shit done. That's how we get this shit done. Let's keep rolling. Now check this out. Watch this.
Her team at the United Community Housing Coalition uses donations, loans, and whatever money struggling owners have saved to try to rescue houses.
It's not even tough judgment calls a lot of the time because the bidding is so high.
Current bid is at 82. That's our bid, so we're winning.
I'm just gonna bid what he's got until you tell me if you want me to go higher.
We're winning?
Yes.
Okay, next.
17366 Apple 13,000.
None of these folks have money, huh?
Can I see her file?
Of the nearly 300 auction homes Michelle tried to buy back, she only won 47.
The bidding has gone very high, so we're not gonna be able to keep bidding, okay?
A lot of the messaging from the
See, now that's the thing. Look, when we go down there to the white man, all right, look, this is a money game. Remember I told you, if you play with the housing game in Michigan, Detroit, it's a money game, all right? Who got the bread and who don't? If we got the bread, all right, we gonna win. It's just that goddamn simple. All right? We take the money, we get the money in the bag, we take the bag to the white man, say, go get this motherfucking shit. All right? Now you heard the white man. Look, you heard him in the background. He said, man, ain't none of these niggas got no money. And that's how you lose. Because you don't come to the table with no motherfucking money. You playing games. All right? You playing games. That white man be winning. You hear me? I don't know the fuck. Look, that white man be winning. All right, but you gotta hold up to your side of the goddamn bargain. Now he can't. He ain't Jesus Christ. He ain't gonna work no motherfucking miracles. The fuck. All right. All right, that white man, you see that white man right there? That white man spotted me $3,000 in 2015. All right, that white man spotted me $3,000 in 2015. 3 grand. I was like, God damn, cuz all I got is like a rack. I got 1,000. Okay, that man called me down to his office. He said, hey bro. He said, come down here, man, and let me rap with you. I go down to the office, okay? I go down to the office and he already left. He was already gone. So I said, God damn, why he called me down here and he ain't here? So one of his people, like, the little females y'all see uh uh in the video, she pulled me on the side of one of them offices and she just dropped the motherfucking papers in front of me like, boom, here's the motherfucking shit, man. Boom, boom, spot you $3,000. Okay. All right, now the minimal amount that you could pay me back is $20 a month. I was like, what? $20 a month? I said, oh no, I could do you better than that. I said, I could do you better than that. I mean, look what you're doing for me. All right, look what you're doing for me. So it'd be kind of fucked up if I just come in here with 20 goddamn dollars. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but damn, you know what I'm saying? $3,000 in 2015, and didn't even blink an eye to it. Like, this motherfucker spotted me $3,000 like he was my grandfather or something. It was weird. Nobody don't just give you money like that, and especially in 2015. All right, I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker came and hit that goddamn. Yeah, man. Here go 3 racks, bro. He said, here go 3 racks. They said, all we need you to do is pay off the back taxes, which at that time, well, no, I only had to pay the taxes for the previous year, which was $1,000. Okay, there was like no way for me to fuck this up. You spotted me 3,000, and then you tell me, well, go and pay the look, go and pay the back taxes for $1,000, and then pay me back what I spot you, and boom, I give you the deed. It was like, this don't really benefit you at all. Cause he telling me to pay him back. He's like break even. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, normally, if you get a loan from I don't give a fuck where you go. You get a loan from somebody, there's interest on that loan. I don't give a fuck what it is. You feel me? It's like if you take out a loan from a bank, a loan from a company. If you take out 500, then they want 600 back, or they want 700 back, and people know what I'm talking about. Like, if you take out 1,000, then they might want 1,200 back. You know what I'm saying? Uh, 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 uh. So the way this shit is sounding is just like unbelievable. But I'm going along with it, right? Because I feel white at this point. I feel white at this point. I said, if this is, I don't know if this guy knows that I'm a black dude, but maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's the hair. This is a good time where my hair is like never nappy. It's always curly, and it's curly in the back. So maybe they didn't think I was black. I'm gonna just go along with it. All right. Whatever this motherfucker finna do, I'm finna roll with it, because he did put down $3,000 and said, here, and pay me back in $20 monthly payments. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. For real? I can do you better than that. Yeah, yeah. Now somebody said, do I pay extra taxes for owned land? No, no, actually no. All right. Yeah. No, no. This deer, like, I remember even one time, when old boy turned around and said something like, "Oh no, he owned his house. He owned his house free and clear." And I was just laughing because uh uh this deal was done by white people. All right, all this shit was done by white people. Okay, I'm being real honest here. All right, this is like confession on Christmas Day. Okay, so like I said, he spotted me the 3,000. All right, I paid the back taxes, and then I think I gave him that money back within a 90-day period, maybe something like that. All right. Now there's no mortgage. No, there was no mortgage on the house because, as you learned earlier, infiltrating your emotions. When the city takes the house for back taxes, there is no bank. The bank cannot stop that. Not even the banks have control over a home that is, that's been sold to the bank. The bank doesn't pay for the property. They turn around and get what a bank will do. The bank will lose a house to the city, right? And wait for another sucker to come through. And they'll read the bank doesn't care about who had that house last. They care about who has it now. The bank always makes money. See, you can never break the bank. So let's say my house, right, is worth $50,000. I take $50,000 from a bank. Let's say I go to Comerica or Bank of America, any one of these major banks that you can think of, Charter One, any one. So I go into the bank. I go and get $50,000 for the bank. I say, yeah, here's my house. I'm gonna pay y'all whenever. Now I take the 50,000. I leave the state. I dip. Now once the bank realizes, well, they done lost their money, right? They're gonna come after me. They're not worried about the house. They can give two shits about the house. The bank is coming after me. So the city takes possession of that house. Someone else buys the house. And then from that particular point, another person walks into that bank, and the bank gives that person $50,000. Now they have control of two human lives. You see how that works? The bank trades your soul for money. They want your soul. The bank wants your soul. Fuck the house. You think a bank cares about a house? No, the bank wants your fucking soul. You feel me? That's why you never take your deed to a bank. All right? Hell, if you can avoid it, you don't want to buy a house from a bank. All right? Because it's the goddamn bank. All right? Now, going to the tax auction from the city, all of these houses are free and clear. All of the properties at the tax sale at the auction are free and clear. I don't give a fuck what happened into that house before the tax auction. All right, when you go to a tax auction, the only thing that you would eventually have to pay off would probably be like a water bill. All right, they would like if you were to live in the house or rent the house out, the only thing that you would have to clear up is a water bill. Because the water company is the only people that say, hey, fuck all of y'all, I want my money. All right? Fuck all of y'all, I want my money. All of it, please. Real talk. But I'm the new tenant. I bought the house. Oh, you bought the house, bitch? Well, guess what? We ain't turning on your goddamn water until we get, what's this bill say? $800, bitch. Pay us our money, we turn on your water. It's just that simple. Can we have our water money, please? Please, please. All right, I'm just saying that is the reality of home ownership. What you would have to pay is a water bill, not a bank, not some, loan shark or something like that. Because yeah, water is an annual bill, and the water bill could be anywhere between 40, depending on the size of your house, depending on if you're a clean person. Your water bill can be anywhere between $50 to $100, annually. That's like every 3 to 6 months. So they've been asking you for $30 and $40 every 4 to 6 months, and the bill, like I said, if your water bill was $50 every 90 days, all right, on an annual basis, every 6 months or whatever, all right, for that bill to be at 800-900 goddamn dollars, look how many goddamn bills went by unpaid. So yeah, that's probably one of the only things. All right, let's keep rolling.
The city and the county recently has made it sound like, well, there are still some foreclosure issues. They're really on the mend. Every year there will be fewer and fewer people in the scenario you just described.
The volume of foreclosures that we still have is far from acceptable. In another time and place, this would be a moral outrage, and yes, it's lower than it has been in the past, but our standards are completely skewed.
Mayor Duggan and the Wayne County Treasurer, Eric Sabri, have declined repeated requests for interviews with Vice News. In a statement, Duggan's office explained that the city had done significant assessment reductions, pushed for legislation that offered reduced interest rates to struggling homeowners, and made dramatic improvements to the assessment process. But the city has no plans in place to repay homeowners who were overcharged, and the county has no plans to stop selling occupied homes. What does tax foreclosure do to communities in neighborhoods here in Detroit?
So tax foreclosure has destabilized and reduced the population. It's increased the amount of blight and vacancy in the city, pushing out lower income people, turning owners into renters.
So why would the city and Wayne County have an incentive to keep any of that in place?
There's a big financial incentive to keep this dance going between the city and the county. They always say follow the money, right? If Wayne County and Detroit were not benefiting from the tax foreclosure system the way it is, they would have stopped doing it some time ago.
And there it is, y'all. The white man snitching on the white man. It's time to get you niggas out the city. It's time to get you niggas out the city. If that wasn't the white man snitching on the white man, all right, Wayne County, which is not owned by black folks, all right, it's not like black folks run Wayne County. That's a myth. So they jacked up tax rates, overcharged people, and like they said, they ain't got no plan to give no money back because the whole object of that game was to get your black ass out of there in the first place. All right. Yeah, there you go, real cigar. Absolutely, got to make it. Hey, look, it's gonna be real easy to come in here. They said, what did it do? Oh, it got these niggas to fuck up out of here. It got these niggas the fuck up out the city quick. That's what it did. Quick. But y'all do know y'all overcharged them people. Yep. Yeah, we did overcharge them. So y'all not gonna give them the money back? What money? You just said that you overcharged them. Uh, uh, yeah, we did overcharge them. Why are you, uh, why are you worried about it? Why are you worried about it? All right. Yeah, we overcharged them. 65%, 85%. All right. We had to get them niggas up out of there. All right, this is a problem we've had since 1920. Okay, you see it happening in front of you, man. White folks is coming clean. White folks is coming clean. As we go in the 21st century, they just saying, you know what, man, fuck it. We just gonna let these niggas know what time it is. All right. Detroit was never supposed to be a black city. All this Detroit hood, Detroit versus everybody. Fuck that. Fuck that. That shit gonna be long gone in a minute. Okay? God damn it. All that's gone. 8 Mile. All right, look, ain't gonna be no 8 Mile. All right, 8 Mile gonna be a suburb. And then once that happened, they coming for 7. Look, man, I remember my homie, he didn't want me to take 7 Mile from the west side to the east side because he thought it was gonna be a whole lot of traffic. And ain't no traffic on 7 Mile in the morning. It's like it's a straight shot to the east side. You get there in like effort, like just effortlessly. You just ride. All right, no traffic at all. Okay, and you even see historians going like, "Well, goddamn, I don't see no black people downtown." It's like the movie Get Out. This is like Get Out in Detroit. This is like the sequel. It's happening out here. Like black people are turning up missing, and not by crime, by another black man, like you would think. The shootouts, the gangs. Okay, yeah. It's kind of like you sit back as a black person in Detroit, and you kind of waiting on New Year's Eve, and you really want to hear like gunfire on New Year's Eve because that's gonna be your sign that there's still some black people in the neighborhood. Like if you don't hear no guns go off and you live in Detroit, all right, on New Year's Eve, if you only hear like one nigga busting a 38 or a motherfucker just shooting off a 22, all right, it's happening in your neighborhood too. It's coming around in everybody's neighborhood. All right, on the 4th of July and on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, it's like a symphony of gunfire going off. Like da 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 da. Because niggas ain't got fireworks or they shoot off a gun. They ain't got no fireworks. You know, it's hood nigga logic. All right, it's hood nigga logic. If you don't have an M80, or if you don't have, that half a stick of dynamite, all right, and you ain't got no sparklers, if you ain't got none of that shit, well, you can always bust off your gun. Niggas ain't shooting in the air. They go in the backyard and they shoot the grass and shit. Go out there and shoot a tree. You feel me? So it's not like they aiming, all over the place. No, niggas go in the back. They either shoot the ground or they shoot a tree. You find a tree somewhere and you bust that bitch down. Nice thick tree. Yeah. Oh my God, it's happening in D.C. too. Oh, that would be scary. I was in D.C. in, like, I want to say the late '80s, so that would spook me out because I remember being in D.C. as a kid, and it was a lot of black folks in D.C. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that would kind of spook me out. All right. They are erasing niggas from the planet. That's why they legalized marijuana. They finally sent me my goddamn card in the mail, sons of bitches. Took them long enough. All right. Yeah, it's totally different. Even when Poppy went down in New York, when he went back to his hometown and he walked around, even though he said, "Wow, it's a whole lot different." Everybody says that. They go into these neighborhoods and they go, "Wow, it's so much different than what it was. It's so much different than what it was." Everybody's noticing that all across the board. Like, wow, look at this. Wow, it's becoming something else. It's not the same attitude as it was. Maybe it could be the chemtrails. Who knows?
Now, the county may be hooked. Since 2010, the county's general fund has received $456 million in interest and fees from doing this. According to data provided by the Wayne County Executive's Office, without all this extra delinquent tax revenue, the county would be broke.
And you still have 3 up?
Now, the city collected $450+ million in tax revenue that was not owed to them. I want y'all to think about that for a second. They were paid $450+ million on their way to $500 million. Money that was not owed to them. Okay? Money that was not owed to them. So, they got this money, right? And the one person that knew about the money and got caught playing with the money was who? Kwame Kilpatrick. Kwame Kilpatrick took $11 million from the city and put it in his back pocket. Walked out the door. Yeah, you see that? You said your house went from 100K, now it's worth $1 million. Yep, you see that? So now the city got all this money that was sitting in that building. Now Mike Duggan then came in using that money, all right, to change the city around to make it into a suburb. All right. So look at that on an element of pushing black folks away from Detroit. It was a real smart thing to do when you think about it. To rob people, residents, all right, of $458 million. All right, $458 million. And that's a story that has not been told. That's a story that has not been told. While the city was talking about bankruptcy, we don't have no money, we got to shut down all these schools. We got to cut off FIA. All these people on FIA, you know what I'm saying? They getting too many benefits. We don't have the money. We don't have the money. But now y'all come up with 458 million. Oh, you know what? We did have this 458 million sitting over here in the corner. Oops, my bad. Close to half of $1 billion sitting in one building. All right. Wow.
It's good business for the Hagermans.
Yep, just won this one.
Donna takes her time.
They bought 310 homes for just over $2 million.
That's the 19333?
Yes, and we won the 20115.
What did we pay for it?
32.
Plus tax?
511.
They won Judy's home for a total of $3,711.
Oh, did y'all hear how much that house went for? Judy, the lady Judy. All right. I'm saying her house went for $3,000. That number sounds familiar. That number sounds familiar. But how much did she owe in back taxes, people? Anybody remember? She only owed 23. Well, no, she owed $23,000. All right, in back taxes. The white man bought her house for $3 grand. The white man bought her house for $3 grand because she owed $23,000 in back taxes. Do y'all see the game? How the game is now being played? Now, this game is coming to an end, okay? In a minute, all right? If the white folks continue to do what they do, okay, it ain't gonna be no property available for you or anybody. You will all be renters in this now suburban city. All right. When you look around, hell, I went downtown, um, and it's like they're even taking over like all of the areas in the surrounding areas. All right. All right. Even the surrounding areas. When you walk from Woodward and you go down, I would say all the way to, well, I would say all the way to Jefferson, but you can't drive down there. You can walk down there. You can't drive down Woodward and turn on Jefferson anymore. All right. That entire area is like predominantly white. That entire area is predominantly white. I remember when they first built that it was like it looks like an apartment complex, but I guess it's like condos, and they were right there on 75 in Woodward. And I remember looking at that and laughing like, yeah, man, ain't nobody gonna move right there. Ain't nobody gonna move right there. Who the hell's gonna move right there? And like you got this really nice ass building in the middle of nothing. All right, but that was years ago because it's a whole lot of something now. It's a whole lot of something now. All right. If I was a gambling man, I would say the next project that they would go after would be Grand River. I mean, why not? It's a line that connects the west side to downtown into the east side. All right. Yeah. All right. In the 20 years I've been out here, I've lived on the west side, I lived on the east side, and I've lived on the suburbs. I say I lived in the suburbs per se. And I was able to identify the racial tension that everybody was talking about because when I remember when I first got out here, everybody was talking about, well, yeah, you go across 8 Mile, you gotta be careful, man. Them white folks racist, blah 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 blah. So I moved out there. I learned that they weren't racist. They had some really good weed though. So now they legalize marijuana, right? They legalize it all across the board. When they legalized marijuana, all right, this was the door that the white folks was able to get through to get in. Uh oh. Hold on one second, y'all. All right. All right. Now, you look at uh the change, the element, the flip, right? Because now, this woman then lost her house, right? House bought for $3,000. Now you have to think about this in a real logical scale. All right, now where you are, think about you being able to buy your fucking house for 3,000 goddamn dollars. Think about that shit for a second. All right, think about that shit for a second. I want y'all to think about if you bought your house for $3,000 and poof, you got the deed just like that, just like that. Look, it's all over. It's all over. All right, and this is the only place in America. This is the only place in America that this is happening right now. And they're not broadcasting. Think about this, y'all. They're not broadcasting this shit. They're not telling people for a reason. Okay? They're not telling people for a reason. They do not want you, the person that's trying to get out, the person that's trying to elevate themselves and um, get into a better living condition. They want you to stay exactly where you are. All right, because if you're on the edge of falling off, all right, it works out better for them. It works out so much better for them. If you're right there on the edge and you're trying to balance, you're teetering right there on the goddamn edge. All right, it's like look, you miss 1 hour of work, you miss goddamn you know 1 day of work or whatever. All right, and your whole goddamn life falls apart. All right, what's happening, Prankville? All right, happy holidays to you. You see what I'm saying? One motherfucking uh 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 um one bill or one $5 short, and your whole everything falls under the goddamn rug. This is why, all right, they keep this shit a secret. All right, this is why they keep this shit a secret. Okay, because the whole object of the game is to keep you in the exact same position. All right, and for you not to advance on the board. Like I said, this is a chess game. All right, in a chess game, you have to play to win. All right, if you don't move, all right, and the pieces on the board are moving around you, eventually you're gonna find yourself surrounded, and then you're not gonna have nowhere to move. All right, let's continue from this video as we close to the end.
A little less than what she got it for in 2009.
Are there any rules here in Detroit when it comes to the housing market?
They would say yes. I mean, you're not interviewing the county, though, so you have to be pretty careful. They would say yes.
Do you think then that you've been able to sort of get in on a market that maybe shouldn't have existed in the first place?
Well, Wayne County sells houses that are occupied. So we are the big bad investor. I bought a home that's occupied. Well, you sold the home that's occupied.
There you go. Hey, look, the white folks are coming clean. The white folks is coming clean again. I love it. Look, he said, "Hey, man, yeah, I'm the big bad investor." All right, did y'all see him? All right, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. If you now go into a Walmart and you see that white man, don't get scared. Oh shit. That's the big bad investor right there. That motherfucker said, "Hey, I'm gonna show you what time it is. Fuck all this talking. Give me this, 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 this." All right. Listen. I want y'all to think about it. When the investors start being public, okay, that means they already know they have won the game. It's like a chess game. When the last time you seen a goddamn millionaire, billionaire investor come public just to tell you, "Hey, guess what? I bought Detroit, bitch, and you lost out. Stupid niggas." All right? We got y'all up out of there, and I got it for the low. That mama said, "Hey, I bought Judy's house for $3,000. This motherfucker, look, this motherfucker got millions and billions and trillions and billions. And they selling him shit for $3,000. He's like, yeah, man, give me 10 of those." Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Yes. And he lives in Bloomfield. No, where did he say he lived? Oh, he lives in West Bloomfield. All right. It don't look, for a white man to live in West Bloomfield, Michigan, all the white people in Detroit are not white to him. If a white person was to like walk up to him and they said, "Well, where did you live at?" "Oh, I stay in Detroit," his whole fucking demeanor would change. Look, like, "You are one of my peasants. Have you paid your rent today?" Be gone with you. Be gone with you. West Bloomfield. Yes, be gone with you. You see how big that motherfucker's house was? That nigga had like a 7-floor house. All right, that house had 7 floors and like 2 staircases and a whole bunch of black chicks on the first floor talking about, "Would you like this next house, sir? Would you like this house? Look, sir, we got this house. Look, did you see all them black women he had working on the first floor of his house? That nigga had a whole bunch of black women. Look, no niggas. It was just black women in that bitch. Sir, would you like to purchase the house on 7 Mile? Sir, we just won the bid for the house on Greenfield. How much did we get it for? We got it, sir, for $4,000. Very good. Keep going. Keep. I'm like, God damn! What the fuck? Is this really happening? A rich ass white man went around, scooped a whole bunch of black chicks from Detroit, took them back to his house, paid them a shitload of money, and said, "Work, bitch." The only thing he didn't do different, well, Master P, he had titties out. That's the only thing he was missing. That's the only thing he was missing. Like, remember, like Master P and I'm about it. That's the first thing I thought of. Like, remember, he was like, "Why these women got on clothes, man? All these bitches get naked right now." I was just waiting for the white man to say, "Get naked, bitches, while y'all buying my houses. I don't trust none of y'all." That's the only thing that was missing. Get naked, hoes. Get naked while y'all buy these houses from these stupid ass niggas. All right. Oh, somebody living in that house? Good. All right. And you see the little son, right? He's like, "Well, I just go around and when I go around and I find out who's living in there, we go and we check to see the driveway and the address. And once we see cars in the driveway, I just call Dad and let him know. Hey, Dad, we got him another one. Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. How many people? It looks like there are about 4 or 5 people in there, Dad. All right, son. Mark that house down. Dad, are you going to give me? Shut up, son. Just mark the fucking house and bring your ass back. All right? Yeah. All right. That white man ain't playing. He is waiting patiently to see whose house. All right. Whose house he can snatch from next. All right. Good Lord. Let's continue. All right. All right. Let's keep rolling.
He can have it. I don't know really, I don't know what to say.
Judy is preparing to become a renter somewhere else. She refuses to pay rent for a home she once owned.
I've started packing up to leave this place. I just got a few things to pack, some knickknacks, and just take the old furniture out.
Do you think you'll ever get a chance to?
Now, here's my thing. So now you want to leave the house, right? Because you can't live here anymore rent free. You can't live in this residency for free. This is the mindset of a lot of black folks. Well, all right, if I can't stay here for free, well then fuck it. I'm gonna just leave. All right. Oh yeah, there are houses that come up on the tax auction. The tax auction happens in October. The list comes out in September. All right. The only thing is, all right, you have to move like lightning at this particular point. Now you see how they had their setup, Will, you see how they had their setup? It was a rich ass white man. He had 5 black women, all, very nice looking, and they were turned around, and they were all on the PC while the son was in the street. That was a heavy fucking system going. Think about it, Will. Think about it, Will. Look at the operation. You see the operation? You got the old man, right? He's the pops. You got pops sitting at the top of the house, right? With all the black chicks, which is on some Hugh Hefner shit, or probably what? No, not Hugh Hefner. Probably King Magazine. You know what I'm saying? King Magazine, right? You got the old white man with all these black chicks on the first floor. Okay, the son is running around in the street. He don't want the son home with him and the chick, even though there's enough women for him. But he was like, "Fuck that, son. You get your white ass out there and drive through the city." All right. So he's just running around all through the east side. He's all on the east side, just running around, marking these houses off, saying, "Yeah, pops, we good. Yeah, pops, we good. Yeah, pops, we good." And they're doing this on site. Okay, they're doing this on site. You see how fast this money will. You see how fast this goddamn money moving, man. See, it wasn't this bad 4 and 5 years ago. All right. Yep. Happy holidays to you too. All right. If all right. Yeah. The game that we play now. All right. Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Look, I told you that there were no properties available in my area at all because I'm on the west side of Detroit. All right. I'm on the west side of Detroit. The war is on the east side of Detroit, which is approximately anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes away from where I'm located. Probably 30 minutes, maybe. Maybe 30 minutes. Probably about 30 minutes away. All right, the east side, I would say, is bigger than the west side of Detroit. If you had to, all right, I wouldn't say that I missed out. We'll see. All right, like I said before, it's December. The auction was in October. So your investors would have had to come to me in September. All right. You have to remember, all right, this is a time window, and serious people have to go to the door when it's open. So the door will be open again, probably for the final time ever in October of 2019. After this, the marijuana organization is going to take over and they're going to open dispensaries in all of these vacant lots. They're going to grow weed in all of these vacant fields. All right, it's going to all turn into a marijuana, super power store. Like Detroit is going to they're going to sell cars and weed. Okay, it's going to become a goddamn superstore, and Canada being the pipeline right here. All right, it's going to be beautiful. All right, the birds are going to chirp again. I went to my old neighborhood um, when I was living on McCullen and Schilling, Schiller. It's right off of Mac on the east side. That is deep east. And I remember I was streaming, so some of you guys were able to see that. And they had built trees. And it was funny driving down that street. It was like that street was a whole fucking neighborhood. There were houses on both sides of the street. There were people living in those houses in both sides of the street. And when I went down that street, all of the houses were gone, with the exception of like one. And in the place, people had planted trees in these areas. And I said, like, wow. All right. Okay. No, my mother doesn't live in Detroit. No, she actually doesn't. I've lived here. All right. I've lived here for approximately well, I moved out here in 2000. I learned about the housing game in 2005. Uh um Initially that. Hold on, Will, you got to wait, man. All right. But I moved out here in 2000, and like I said, I got here on 2005. After 2005, um there was a house in my neighborhood that was being sold in the auction for $1,000. All right. So I was like, wow, if I could just get to that house, it'd be awesome. But at this time, I didn't know anything about the auction. I didn't know anything about anything. So when my turn came around to go dealing with the housing coalition and things like that, and going down there and going through the motions, it was a lot that I learned at this point versus the middle class, the lower class versus big corporate versus billionaires. Like, this was the first time I was able to see this fight up. Like, I had front row tickets, and not only am I'm with front row tickets, they are opening the gate and allowing me to step into the arena and fight one of these goddamn billionaires head the fuck up. So it was an extreme learning experience, and when I came out of it, I said, like, wow, okay, they're talking about um 76,000, or these numbers of properties that are available in Detroit. No, no, no. Let's speak reality. Okay, the reality was this: the residential homes, because that's what we're concentrating on. We don't care about the commercial buildings. And when I'm looking at this story and I'm looking at this video, they're giving you like an inflated number, or you know what I'm saying? They're somewhat giving you an inflated number of what's going on here. When they say it's 76,000 properties that were in the tax auction in 2017, they were also including the commercial buildings. So let's eliminate the commercial buildings and see how many residential homes are actually available. Now, when we come to that number, okay, that number of the residential homes, when I was in the auction in 2014, when I was in the auction in 2014, there were approximately 25,000 residential homes in the auction in 2015. Okay? 76,000 is the number now. You have to keep in mind there's less than a quarter of that are actually properties, that are actually homes, that are actually houses that are left. All right, if that number is not even smaller now, because that number in 2015, I said, my God, it was 25,000, maybe a little under that, but about 25,000 um, properties, residential homes that were in the auction at that time, 2014 going into 2015. Okay, so all right, well, you had um, a lot of unorganized people in the city, and a lot of corrupt people in the city that was just taking money and doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do with it. You had a lot of corruption at City Hall. All right, all right. I'm just saying, you have to look at it on a level of, when you go, all right, and you say, well, I want to go and I want to invest into this project. Well, if we going to invest in a project, okay, you have to know who is at the table, all right, and who are you up against? Who are you going to be playing against the table? All right. See, a lot of people go into this situation blind. They go into the situation blind, and if you go into the situation blind, you will fail 100% of the time. You have to know who your competition is. Now, this individual has made himself known. This individual in the video, he's made himself known and made himself public, saying that, hey, all right, I'm in here, I'm out here, and we bringing millions to the table. We bringing millions to the table. All right. And we have to think about why are they bringing millions to the table in an alleged fallen city. All right. Hold on. Let's continue with the video.
To own land in Detroit again.
The question should be, would I want to? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Now, she's pushed back into a rent situation where she's going to be making the landlord rich. And the problem is, like I said, she, uh, uh, I believe at the end of that, got about, eh, evicted. And my man, I believe he ended up owning about 300. He ended up owning about 300 residential homes, if I'm not mistaken. He bought 300 houses for $2.2 million. I believe that was about right. He spent a little over $2 million, okay, on 300 homes, okay, and that was in 2017. We're going into 2019, okay, and this white man is one of the men that you are up against. All right, okay, this is one of the white men that you are up against. If you plan on uh investing in Detroit, if you plan on buying property in Detroit, or if you're thinking about buying property in general just to make money off of property, you better take a look at who you are going up against. All right, because these niggas out here, man, these white folks, excuse me, ain't niggas, but these white folks out here are playing to win the game. And if they want that property, they are going to put the money down on the line. Now, the funny thing is about this house, all right, like I said, the dude came up short at the time he had to get to my crib. I don't know, maybe call it what you want to call it. All right, but at the end of the day, all right, if anyone, wants assistance on your boy Vicdamoane, looking into some information, all right, hey, when we get around that time, okay, and like I said, the months that we need to start looking is like, I would say July, August, all right, because the auction happens in October. In October, you got to have all your ducks in a row. You got to know everything about everything. So you figure from like July to October is enough time to do research throughout the entire east side, which basically that's all that's left on the market is the east side of Detroit. That's all that's on the market. And to turn the east side back into a white city, well, that's perfect for them because technically, when you go deep east, you end up in Grosse Pointe, which is like, fucking, mansions and shit. So I get it. The people that live in Grosse Pointe and Warren and this that the other, like Mac, like the street Mac. Mac is known notorious for being like a fucking ghetto when you drive up and down it. But if you continue on and go keep going up Mac, you'll end up in Grosse Pointe, fucking rivers and lakes and all this beautiful shit. You know what I'm saying? Right down the fucking street. So yeah, they looking around like, well, you know what? We're gonna take over all this. You know what I'm saying? Make it look more suburban, make it look more middle class. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole idea of this concept. Hell, I thought some of the damn stores would at least be open when I drove through some of those old hoods, like going up and down Mac and Bewick and Cadillac. I think that the store over there is still open. But there's a lot of things that changed. They built duplexes and things like that. They tore down a lot of houses and properties. I was like, really, really shocked driving through some of those old neighborhoods. All right. And I ride. And I ride. All right. I ride. All right. And I'm seeing a whole lot. Okay. Now keep in mind, like I said, this dude, he did all this, what, 2 years ago? He did this in 2017. All right. And think about what he said. They went looking for people that were living in those houses. They did not just go and buy junk. They went and marked down and said, okay, we're going to go for the houses that are occupied. All right. We're going to go for the houses that are occupied. And what better way to know if a house is occupied or not is if you do a, silent drive by. All right, we're gonna do a Chucky. We're gonna pull. We're gonna do a silent drive by. Like, yeah, bitch. Oh, them lights is on. Yeah, man. It's somebody. Oh, and the grass cut. They got a trash can sitting out there. We got them. We got them. All right. All right. Now, Will C said 2021. Shit, bro. 2021. Hell, ain't gonna be none of that shit left in 2021. All right, that right there, you gonna be paying like, you be paying the same goddamn price to live in fucking Pennsylvania. All right, the whole object of this game is to make uh um is to make this city, all right, the same as every other city. All right, if you're paying $1,000 a month for a one bedroom apartment in New York, well, that's going to be the object of the game in Detroit. They're going to turn it into that, just that. If you wanted to live, I remember when I was, well, shit, in the '90s when I was living in Georgia, right? And I had an apartment down there. My rent was like 750 for a two-bedroom. So, I was used to going anywhere between 500, $600 a month. Hell, I paid that for fucking 20 years straight. 500 a month, 600 a month, 700 a month. It was always those numbers that would always be the same. It would always be like an apartment. It would never, like, I made sure that my bills never went like past $1,000 a month. If my rent was 600, then I needed to spend about 200 on food. 40 or 50 might wash my clothes for a month or so. You know, and toothpaste too. A little bullshit like that, and uh, transportation. You feel what I'm saying? And of course, they weren't selling like. I mean, they had loud, but nobody was really buying it like that. They were still smoking Reggies back then. All right, all right, all right, all right. Yeah, big spenders out here. Big spenders out here. Okay. Now, the videos that mostly are promoted, right, are videos like this, and I want to play this next, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Now we just saw, the white man. He didn't spend $105 million, right? Oh, excuse me, no. Well, he didn't spend. He wanted to spend 105, but he only ended up spending about 2 million. All right, buying these properties. All right, some people getting kicked out. Some people had to move around. This, that, the other. But this is what you normally see when you think about Detroit and what's promoted.
Let's ride. Come on, nigga, yeah, let's do it. Put it to him, put some bullets through that nigga. Don't be scared, really do it. Yeah, you hard, you that gangster, you that killer, you that shooter. You ain't scared to go to jail. Come on, nigga, really do it. Now listen, man, the story starts out simple and easy.
Riding across Detroit, nothing new for decades. In part, the hood resembles a war zone. As time passes, more and more buildings abandoned and set on fire. Far from the iconic image of the industrial centre, the real Detroit is an illustration of the negative side of globalization, the consequences of the communications and information age, the roadside of the digital highway.
Gotta be the man standing, not the first but the last. It ain't about the cash, it's about that respect. I'm staying humble off the porch with a crew. I never stumble, dude. Strip out the bushes and I'm pushing my luck. I just pop.
All right, is he smoking crack? He's smoking crack. He's smoking crack. Now wait, now stop, pause the video. But the white man just spent $100 billion in the city. But the videos that you see about Detroit normally look like this one right here. It's a completely different visual that they're giving you. Burning buildings, fucked up buildings. They put on some rap music for you. All right. Give you that, hood mentality. Some rapper that you ain't never heard of, but he was rapping to the intro to Metallica's Unforgiven. That's where that beat came from. Metallica. All right. The mix of heavy metal and hardcore gangster rap. That's some real hood shit right there. That's when when it got real bad, when the white folks and the black folks come together to make something even more violent than the black on black and the white on black. It gets deep around here in Detroit. You gotta pay attention.
I have my friend in here. That chicken that blood every time, so she might bring me some meat.
Do many people live here in this apartment?
4.
4 people. Is is this vicinity dangerous for living? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they be killing people over here. A lot of gangs run through here, initiations.
What did you do in Ford?
Just put on tires on the assembly line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the automobile industry is going into China. We losing a lot of jobs here, especially in Michigan.
Lewis worked at Ford.
Now, listen to this, a former Ford worker.
And knows much about globalization. He's typical of the homeless in Detroit. There are more than 15,000 of them in the city. They are enthusiastic speakers when it comes to the reasons for their problems.
Businesses that are going from the United States, there's a lot of business going, like Canada is getting some, Mexico is getting some because it's cheaper labor, and they don't have to pay as much hospitalization and union dues and all that stuff, and the employment and the rate of pay is a whole lot cheaper. So that's where they're going.
There's no work in Michigan. Even people with degrees,
really,
having a hard time getting work.
Now see, this don't match up, y'all. You got the white folks investing and the black people telling you, oh, ain't shit here. See? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right here. We just seen the white man say, hey man, we invest in, we buying properties, we getting it in. The black folks in Detroit all have the same mentality. Every last one of them. Ain't shit here. Ain't nothing here. You wasting your time here. Everything around here is crumbling and being destroyed and falling in on yourself. There is nothing but misery and depression and death, and people die and they get killed, and all of these things happen here. This is the mentality of all the black people in Detroit, especially the ones that have been in the city their entire life. This is the mentality. While the white folks come in and take everything from them because they believe, black folks believe, that there's nothing here. So they immediately just quit. They walk away. They run away. All black people, like you go around here, same thing with every last one of them. Well, you know, Ford and Chrysler, they took jobs to Mexico and they did this thing and they did that to that one. They did it. It's always, well, so and so said this, so and so said that. They don't have any evidence. All right, somebody told them this. So when enough black people tell a story in Detroit, it becomes a fact. All right. When more people, all right, tell a story in Detroit, it becomes a fact. Nobody ever does any research. Nobody ever goes to see what's actually real. All right. Let's keep rolling.
You ride around some of the neighborhoods, east side, west side. All you see is vacant houses.
Yeah, you got doctors and lawyers.
All you see is vacant houses, man. When you see those white pieces of paper in that window of that vacant house, that means they was evicted.
Yeah.
Michigan Central Depot is a Detroit landmark. It tells a lot about the city's history and its path of industrial development. Built in 1913, it used to be the symbol of new modern times and prosperity. Henry Ford made it a business center at the crossing of the railroads and the tram lines. The Great Depression put an end to economic development. The great highway system replaced the railroad and put an end to the depot. It was simply not needed in the time of the car. A symbol of the automobile's complete triumph over public transportation, the station is still there, as well as all the surrounding buildings. Good times never came back to the area. Some of the buildings were used as storage until the early 1990s, but at some point people left completely. They left all their stuff inside, like it was infected with a deadly virus. But the real reason is simple. It would cost money.
I think they don't fix it is because it's too expensive and there's no use for it, you know, and I think that says a lot about American culture of things being disposable, you know, even beautiful buildings are disposable.
Charles Psenka is a Detroiter, and the only reason for him to visit the city is his hobby, a website devoted to abandoned buildings. He takes photos and then posts them online. His business and home are a couple of hours from Detroit. Charles says the buildings are sometimes used to store and sell drugs, and are very dangerous. There can even be booby traps to protect the illegal trade.
Are all measuring spoons. There's 3 different sets right here, 4 different sets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably used to cook heroin, would be my guess.
Right about the time the automotive industry quit this city, I guess, would be a good starting point for the decline. A lot of jobs left, a lot of secure jobs left, very good manufacturing jobs. A lot of that maybe had to do with the unions, that the unions fought so hard and so well for the workers that maybe the companies couldn't afford them anymore. I mean, casinos. Make sure you film the casinos before you leave town. They're beautiful buildings, brand new, gorgeous buildings. And the areas around them are also brand new, beautiful, and occupied. Lots of people going in and out, lots of money being spent. It's all based on gambling, though. You know, and the city makes a good amount of money off of that.
Another example of the decline is the legendary Carl's Steakhouse. It's been here for almost a century and once had dozens of waiters and cooking staff.
You say the motherfucker in Russia, forget about it. Huh? This America.
No, it's all right.
This America. The best thing ever had.
Today, Chef Yanis and waiter Max are among the few members of staff.
We just got off here to be an assistant officer. Okay?
Max is a Russian immigrant and has worked here for 30 years.
"20 years ago, you couldn't come into this restaurant. You had to wait in line for about 45 minutes to get a table. Right now, look, it's empty. On the regular, on a Sunday.
There's a lot of customizations that you can do within the mode itself.
How could I utilize this? How could I create something cool, unique?
But this is just the beginning
Bitch.
of something that's going to be huge.
Bastards. There we go.
Monday rush hour. Not a surprise, the centre is empty. Dozens of buildings here are abandoned, including 12 of the skyscrapers. The main question, what to do with these massive but useless architectural structures, has remained unanswered for decades.
Yeah.
The only giant in this ghost downtown is the General Motors global headquarters, the Renaissance Center. The industry leader has its offices here. But the manufacturing facilities are in areas where labor is cheaper. The nearest GM plants are right across the river in Canada. The country gives incentives worth hundreds of millions of dollars to GM and other car makers in order to create more jobs for its citizens. The Renaissance Center hasn't lived up to its name. GM closed 4 of its plants at its home in Michigan in 2006 to 2008 and 6 in other states. More than 12,000 American jobs will be lost. With new plants opening in other corners of the world, GM now employs almost 300,000 people in 31 countries. That's the equivalent to a third of Detroit's total population. And this building downtown is ground zero for the Detroit industrial age, the first Ford workshop. The automobile boom started here, and here the assembly line was invented. It would take the car...
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to something. All right? You got one side telling you that, oh, there's abandoned buildings, there's all of this trash, there's all of this stuff, and then you got people saying, well, no, 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 actually we just bought 55 properties in this neighborhood. We just invested. All right, what's really going on here, people? Think about it. All right, what's really going on here? All right, what's really going on here? All right, all right. I'm just saying, what's really going on here? All right, the takeover is in full effect. All right, the mindset of people in the city, all right, is already in the game. Okay, the people that are here already, all right, they're not going to invest. They'll just rent for the rest of their life, making the other side rich. Okay, that's what it is at the end of the day. All right, now we're gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do another video. All right, where we're gonna drop some more facts and more topics. Okay. Somebody said if this is in the plans, right, gentrification is happening everywhere, even here in Mississippi. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. But check this out. Yeah, I got more shows in stow. All right, we're gonna have some fun. All right, we're gonna look around. All right, on social media. Christmas Day. All right, Christmas afternoon, going into the evening. So we should, all right, come across some madness. All right, I'm expecting madness. All right, hopefully we don't get flagged. All right, it's your boy Vicdamoane. We'll be right back.